Whatever. Do what I want. Hi. I dreamt a lot today. It's like any other day. Taking over the world. I jest. Because I'm a jester. But in a little bit of seriousness. I spent a lot of today just sleeping. And a lot of today dreaming. And that doesn't always... they don't always go together. Sometimes I sleep and I don't dream. And sometimes I don't sleep and I dream. And I woke early this evening. It was like the crunch of like a green, I guess it'd be like a Granny Smith or a Macintosh apple. Like the juice in my mouth and the crispiness against like the crunch in my teeth, you know? And so upon waking, desiring for that apple, not my instinct, but my like conditioned direction was to seek out this object of delicious beauty in my fridge. Which didn't have any apples. Apples don't grow in fridges. Apples don't grow in supermarkets either. And the reason my fridge doesn't have apples is because it costs money. And there I'll say it. I can't afford apples. Sort of. I mean, I had the best apples in my dreams. And I was playing some kind of game. But hey, my name is Elliot. And I'm always playing a game. Oh, hello. I was going to say, it's like, where I teeter on despair, I'm like a little bit lunatic, a little bit Looney Tune. It always made me think, money don't grow on trees. Which I've never, like, that's always been the stupidest thing. Like, from as early as I've ever heard it, I'm like, that's stupid. Isn't money made out of paper? And then, it didn't take that much older to be like, don't we just make money up? Money does grow on trees-ish. I mean, enough for that saying to not make sense. But that's not the worst part of that saying not making sense. The worst part is that nothing grows on trees. If the connotation is what grows on trees is like nature's bounty. What grows on trees is our birthright. If the connotation is what grows on trees is free, what the fuck grows on trees anymore? If I want to grow a fucking fruit tree, I need to be permitted. I need a permit. And it's all just spell manipulation, permit, permanent. Need permission to create any sense of eternity. Because everything that is forever. Unless you give your forever up. Or it's raped and taken from you. And I want to say the Western world, but even in the countries where they do happen to grow lots of fruit on trees and it's like readily available to like the locals, that is a farce comparable to like the social harmony that is the truth of living off of our land and receiving the gifts of aliveness from the gardens that we tender. Is it so our people are like the people so dim? Are the people so dumb? Numb? Like why the fuck are we buying fruits and not growing them? Why aren't our streets littered with fruit trees? Well, because you never know with those fruits. They might kill you. Who thinks that? Who thinks that when the fruit, like you go to an apple orchard or whatever, it's like, and the apple is growing on a tree, and you're like, oh, you can't eat that. You haven't washed it yet. It's like, why? Is your mouth dirty? Ain't no amount of washing the poor apple. It's gonna clean your dirty mouth. Thankfully. Crunch, 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 crunch. Do you know what there's no such thing as? A fucking bruised fruit. We've been conditioned to this like false sense of fragility and like a worship of false. They're like nubile. Ellie, it's because pesticides. We don't eat just fruit off the street because of pesticides and like bugs. So you're stupid. That's cool. I mean, it's not cool, it's lame, but like, it's all right. It's all right if you're stupid. But it's all just an excuse to limit. And everything I say, anything I ever say on this fucking channel is common sense. But common sense is bullshit unless you share it commonly. I marvel at how much talking like the humans in my vicinity seem to do, but they don't talk about anything. What's worse, they talk about others, not in terms of themselves, not in terms of anything except judgment, in an effort to seem interesting, to mimic and self perform, not masturbation, more like flagellate. And so mimic, I don't know, the losers they see on TV. I mean, hey, I love me a good TV show. I might even mimic some of them, but they're all like badass superheroes or anti-heroes or relatable villains or charming super nerds. And none of them are me. And like anyone and anything that I come across, it's all a learning and an aspiration. I don't aim to be anything other than myself, but I could aim to be like the things that I think are beautiful or closer to the truth than the last step I took was. When did we decide so easily that nature was trying to kill us? The thing that I can't stand the most is the sun. I mean, that we think the sun is trying to kill us.
UV rays. Don't stay out in the sun too long, it's gonna fucking kill you.
But in the same breath, we could admit that all life on Earth is possible by the sun. So it's trying to kill us, but it's also what makes us live. Who's the genius that believes this? Who's the genius that thought this up to convince all the stupid people? But Elliot, I really do get sunburned. That's real. You can't fake that. No. But you can make yourself sunburned. What do you mean, Elliot? Well, think of all the bullshit you do to your body. in the attempt to do the exact opposite of what you think you're doing, but you never stop to think if your aim is your accomplishment or your disease is your own doing. Using soap kills you. Cleaning your hair, washing your hair. I'm not even gonna say arbitrarily, like ever, but all the fucking time kills you. Brushing your teeth kills you. How can brushing your teeth kill you? It's not. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. It's not mustard gas. It's not acid rain. It's not a bullet to the brain. But how do you take power away from like God's children? How do you enslave that which is of the life and love that everything is? How do you fuck consciousness into unrecognition? Not all at once, but in as many ways as you can make up. I'm not here to fucking. I hate the idea of coming onto this platform and sharing true things like this, because it's never going to change the world. You can't commodify the truth. You can't commodify love. You can't commodify freedom. Which is why, in earnest, like I'm only really thinking of one. Like the only best brands are able to share love and paid and can only make money by the goods of it, by willingness to invest in caring for one another, in an idea. It doesn't matter what you buy. It matters what you believe it does. But now I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, speaking a little bit too much about the power we have to create our reality. Oop, that sounds like woohoo. No, that just sounds like if you study life enough, you figure shit out. And then you come to this catch-22 of loving more than you've ever loved, needing less than you've ever needed. And knowing that there's nothing that you can do except love and be there for the people that want to be there for you. But since I leapt off that ledge a little bit, and I love you, and I trust you, and I boldly made claims. I'll explain a little bit to you. Sunburn is not a natural thing. The reason that we get sunburn is because our body is and our atmosphere in tandem has been stripped of its ability to, it's stripped of its attenuation as like a light source, light receiver. And so radiation, what is radiation? I don't know, it's like what radioactive stuff does. What's radioactive mean? Something about atomic decay? Yeah, just keep it simple, yo. What's a radio? Radio inactive? Radio active. Think of it like that. Radioactive. It's transmitting a radio signal. But in the EM spectrum, everything is emitting frequency. And something that is radioactive is just emitting a frequency at which we deign is a radio source. What's radiation? Radiation is a radius. It just means outward, as opposed to like point source, laser focused. If you can recall our old TV screens, if you hold like a magnet up to it, or like the old computer screens, that DGOS button, it would like you push and go wow, wow, wow. All that is like an electromagnet zapping and like refreshing. All that to say that you can bend light with a magnet. But what's a magnet? I'll spare you that. We also bend light with antennas. If you make an antenna a certain shape, then it will attract and capture the wavelengths that resonate with that shape. And so the light that lands on us as in the form of life of all the stars. Because, like, I don't know, food for thought. The sun is one star, but every single one of those stars, if you can see it, is shining light on you. And if you can't see it, it's trying to. Your hair, the oils on your skin, right? Because what is oil? Like the bullshit that we use to fuel our economies, right? It's a lubricant. It's also it's like everything. It's one part insulator, one part conductor. Just like water, just like glass, everything insulates, everything conducts. It's just relative to whatever the other material that you're using is. Anyways, we are naturally not just shielded, but we have these specialized areas in our bodies that are attenuated to the natural flow of life force. And when we pluck one, two, there are so many that you can't really take it away from us, but cover our feet, take us away from the ground, have us live off of, not even just not on the ground with our feet, but I live on the 3rd floor. It's the highest I've ever lived. Some people live on the fucking 20 something, right? When was the last time you ate something that was recently still connected to the ground? We wear these polarized lenses. But people don't even know what that means. It's not just that we block everything off, which is why I don't suggest that if you use soap every day, or you wash your hair and everything every day, or you brush your teeth every day, for you to just stop. You have to do it slowly. You have to teach your body that you love it. And that's what love feels like. When did we become ugly and need all this fake ass shit? The truth is that there's as many truths as there are believers. And I just want to eat an apple off a tree, walking barefoot down what used to be called a street and now is just called where I am. And the things that we make are the things that make next year's flowers bloom more easily, and next year's children smile more readily. And the things that we do make us feel more safe with ourselves and each other's by virtue of our truth. And I look out into the world that is really just afraid and fucking stupid, which I really can't abide. Because both of those things, everyone has the power to do something about. Recently, and by recently I mean for the last 34 years, I've been especially subject to supposedly kind people, but they're really just so fucking afraid. and insecure in their cowardice and fucking stupid. You know what? I lied. I can abide everything because none of those, being afraid, being insecure, being fucking stupid, none of those things makes being kind less available. None of those things makes love less of a choice. Because you can excuse not loving with anything, which means not loving is inexcusable. And I've never made a choice that was less love than I could believe in. That isn't hard to believe. It's never really come up when you just live from that place. But let's be pragmatic. Why, oh why, why, oh why, why, oh why aren't our streets lined with fig trees? Any kind of fruit trees. Why isn't every field a garden? Why are the oceans still dirty? Why are we continuing to send our children to POW camps? Legit. Why do we subject ourselves to governance by like a class of people that study their like classic system as opposed to life and love and what's effective? They don't study technology, they don't study people, they don't study anything except like political science is not a real thing. If you're studying democracy is like studying the alphabet. Congratulations, you created this squiggly lines, and you know them really well, but they're only what you make them. And then they're like self-proclaimed that none of them have any power.
It's like, yes, but it's the Senate or the Congress or the
blah 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 blah, the irresponsibility. But if you want change, you got to go through this, you got to go through that. No, actually, we just do things differently. And it only needs to affect the people that we come in contact with. And that can be everybody eventually. But doesn't that sound lovely? All of us connected by the choices we make? Because I didn't choose any of this. And that's what I think is happening most potently right now, beyond like all the cosmic churnings. There's just a generation, almost like a mega generation. Whatever, man. I don't know. I don't have some way to say it to explain more than one generation, but just like a few that have been alive long enough that's been like, oh wait, I grew up thinking that there was a reason for all the stupidity, but there isn't. There's no reason. There's no reason except that we're clearly enslaved. And like, everything that we've been told is a lie. I'm not even just saying that. Like, look into it. It doesn't have legs. Our history, how we treat each other. I get really fucking miffed by the gender divide because All I've ever met were really shitty women and really shitty men and really great women and really great men. It's like, oh, so maybe our dicks and our vaginas have nothing to do with it. It's like I have a dick. There's a certain reference I have for vaginas that I can't remove. I just hurt myself. I'm like, dick, but not pussy, Elliot. It's like, yeah, but like, I really like pussy. Oh, and I'm allowed. Damn it. What was I saying? It's hot in here. I've only got a couple of these buttons, anyways. But anyways, the like the patriarchy, the matriarchy, like it's all bullshit. Like you can, it doesn't. You can like a little bit of Wikipedia even, and that's like neither here nor there when it comes to like true sources or whatnot. But like most of our history was rewritten in the 18th century. There's like a huge war for about 400 or 500 years. But and there's been like 1,000 years added to our history that doesn't exist, and everything that happened supposedly within the 1,000 years has been condensed and like coalesced into, sorry, rather, the truth of like the 300, 400 year war has been spread out to fill in this fake time. This isn't a conspiracy. It's not even hard to find out. Like it's real. But why do we live in a world where when we find out important and interesting things about our identity, we have there's no manner with which we can share that information with each other. Doesn't that sound stupid? What is this internet thing if we can't use it to educate ourselves and our children and like our grandparents? How can we learn things and then be like, well, it's hard, the teachers are really restricted. There's no such thing as a restricted teacher. There's only a restriction in permission. And we only really need permission if we're slaves. We're really only slaves if we're forced to do things that we don't really choose to do, to receive things that we don't really need, but are made to believe we need. I don't need money. I need love. I don't need money. I need good food and smiling and laughter. I haven't met a man or a woman who wouldn't gladly do all of the work that's necessary to live that free life. Because every man and woman I've ever met has practically is exhausted and tired and drawn from living a life, working, doing things they don't want to do. And nobody with a job does what they want to do. Not entirely. No, but you really fucking don't, because you can't stop. You can't start. And babe, we're all trees. We all have our fruit, and all you got to do is plant us. You don't even have to water this, because as long as you're not smearing fucking titanium oxide on your skin and I don't know, running away from the rain. Who runs away from the rain, man? Like when it rains and I'm out in the rain, like I had to like recondition it because there was like that condition of like move faster in the rain. It's like, this is awesome. And if you run in the rain, you only get wetter. That's physics. Never mind. It's physics, and it's also like super supernatural physics, which is really just physics. But not lied about. Just relax. Go slow, homie. We deserve better. We deserve to bear the fruit that we have within us. And we deserve to share our fruit with each other. I was going to say we deserve to eat each other's fruit. But like, that's dirty. It's like, it's not so dirty. It's not like we're eating the trees. Bark, bark, leave. And like, who hasn't heard it just fucking blow on it? Just fucking blow on it. I really want that apple. And it's Sunday evening and the supermarkets are closing, and that's not where apples come from. The robots are going to take all our jobs. First of all, the robots are not going to take your jobs. Second of all, who the fuck wants to keep your jobs? But then we won't be able to buy things. No, that's not a thing either, right? The greatest lie that we've had upon like our humanity and our supposed history is that, and it doesn't even chain us the way that people let it. History is important because you can identify with yourself based on the choices that you've made. Like, this is who I am. This is the person. There's a fist going on here. So this is who I am. Ooh. And you look for like inner continuity. And the lie, the agricultural evolution lie. Darwin's, it's not even Darwin's theory of evolution. It's like Darwin, like origin of species. He was talking about like this very real mechanism of mutation in life, and it was just commandeered to be as a theory for where people came from, to take us away from our like divine and like not even just celestial, but like we are all princes, we are all princesses, our birthright is like angelic and eternal. And that doesn't, it is undisputed if you look within yourself, because P.S., that's where it is. But if you take a generation of people and you kill all the older ones and you separate all the younger ones from those that make them feel familiar, you can put them in any kind of playground and invent the rules. And then when they think, well, that makes no sense, be like, but that's the way you are. That's the way we've been doing it for 1,000 years. Look, it says so in this book. The book, of course, has only been written, now, but it's translated from something that was written a long time ago. It's like, can I see that translated piece? Oh, we burned it. It was heretic. And the most important part, I'll end with this, is that none of that matters. It can, but it doesn't need to. We don't need to look further than this very moment for the inner consistency that we seek. We don't need to look further than this very moment to find the person that we want to be in the life that we want to live. To find what we'll stand for and what we'll live for and what we'll love for. Fuck what we'll die for, because dying is easy. And all the motherfuckers in the world that like to proclaim, it's like, oh, I'll die for this. I'll die for this. Don't do it. I'll kill you. I'll kill you, fool. I'll kill you. It's like, dying for things is easy. What the fuck will you love for? What would you live for? And then do that. I just want to eat an apple. Look at it this way. We live in a very, very fortunate time, because our ancestors and our legacy will both look at this time and be like, wow, could you imagine wanting something as simple as a piece of fruit and not being able to have it? Like, could you imagine wanting an apple and not being able to have one from the trees that grow everywhere? Could you imagine? No, get this. They stopped growing the fruit trees. They only grew them in these little plots, and then did all these fucked up things to them. And so only someone could have them. And so, I know it makes no sense, because nobody's who are we fighting? Who are we trying to get one up on? It's just human and human. And whatever our cosmic origin, whatever our genetic legacy / destiny, what's undeniable at the lowest common denominator is our alive in these bodies. And as you grow in power and as you grow in ability, you don't get stupider. You don't get dumber. And you can grow more evil, but only to a point. Because the most evil beings in the universe are also the most loving. What do you mean, Elliot? Now that's fucked up. That's weird. What do you mean? When you're aware of the universe and how you're contained in it, then there's no hiding from the love that you live in. And that everything is contained in and by and for love. And that love doesn't give a fuck if you're good or evil. Love only wants to love. And because time is just another kind of space, the most cosmically evil aspects of consciousness are those aspects that have chosen, fallen, explored, sacrificed to be and do what is necessary for the only goal, for the only destination, for the only place there is, the only place to go, which is more love. Love grows on trees. Love grows on bees. Love grows on flowers. Love grows on the air you breathe. Love grows on you. And love grows on me too. And you can eat love. It's hard to notice because with love you always feel full and you never feel hungry. It's like the perfect dessert. Eating it at the time of the day or night when you really shouldn't be. But it's just so sweet and awesome. I love you. Thank you for joining me. And for, I don't know, being like me. You'd have to be a little bit to tolerate the madness, the madness. I just want to be free. And you let me do that. Because there's no such thing as freedom when in solitude. And everything's free and not free. You need relation. And I'm only surrounded by not free, except when I'm with you here. So, hi. Have a lovely day and night and everything too. I love you. And so do the trees. Do me a favor. Eat an apple for me. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Namaste.